Okay, so the ground air is applied. I'm going to then press the button there. Looking at the TGT leading, making sure it doesn't exceed that 920-ish, and that's gone back down again. That's a pretty good start on the left there.
All right then, as I get the jet started, this tape is about 40 minutes long, but I've cut it down to about 10, and it's really just me flying with one of my students in an early morning session this week. The school has started again. I'm in the edit for the tape here, and I'm in a jet, and my boy Snibs, who's one of the new students at Shadowlands, is in another jet. It's a great time to start at the very beginning, guys, if you want to join the school, but by all means, you can join anytime anyway. I'm going to take you through pretty much what we're doing up there in the sky. I'm going to follow him around, and I'm just going to let the tape play, maybe put a bit of music on it, something like that. Really doesn't really matter, does it? But if you do want to come into the school, jump in then through the website, guys, and I'll catch you in those Shadowland skies.
Idle, dab the brakes, bink, check my nozzle steering, left, right, and I'm going to go left for this. As I come left, my nose comes left. I'm checking on my HSI, that numbers are decreasing. And as I come right, nose comes right, numbers are increasing. That's great. And I think that's you there. Hello.
Hello.
Looks like everything's working. Stick left, left up, right, stick right, right up. Good. I'm going to hide over here. I'm going to let you get airborne first, and I'll come flying with you. Pitot heat's coming on for me just before I go. I'm leaving engine heat off at the moment. Don't necessarily need that with the clear skies we have. Fuel pumps up, auto balance left low, and the runway I'm going to set on my course bar. I'm going to set the runway for 088, which it is, and therefore we know that we're lined up. And I'm going to give myself a downwind heading as well now for the reciprocal of that, which is about 270. The wind is quite light and variable, so I'll put about, it should be 268. I'll put it on the reciprocal of the course bar at the moment. Okay, looking at your aircraft then, you can taxi on ahead of me, so you can taxi on a line up. Approach path is clear. Just check you've got full flap.
Just setting the heading bugs, etc.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. And then check you've got full flap. Seat would be live. Well, there is no arming the seat in this airplane, but the seat would be live. Left low selected. That's looking nice. So you're looking good. Your air brakes are in. I can't see your flaps yet, so I'll have a look out. When you look at your leading edge wing, you should just have the slats deployed. Yeah, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? So you can line up them, centre of the runway, and as you're lining up, yeah, I can see flap on your aircraft now. We're going to line ourselves up nicely. Approach path is clear. Line yourself up, and as you do line up, just check you've got that 088 to make sure your kit's working all right. And we're going to line up, centre the runway, and we're going to make that nose leg oleo extended. That's it. Hold it on the brakes. Have been clear takeoff. You're going to go straight ahead to Catesian in the climb for 350 knots. So when you get airborne at about 160 knots, you're going to bring the horizon to the bottom of the HUD, 5 to 10 degrees nose up. It'll be in full reheat. You're going to hold that, trimming it out. Gear will travel, flaps will travel, and I'm going to set about 6 degrees now on my trim. And you will find you need to trim
6 degrees set.
And you'll find you'll need to trim a lot when you're airborne. You need to trim a lot forward as the speed increases. So accelerate in full reheat till 300 knots, out of reheat, and then full power but out of reheat, and maintain that until 350. So you are clear takeoff then. Go once around the box. Normally I would moving that stick around, checking that the control surfaces move. It's a great time to find out that your stick isn't disconnected. That's brilliant. On the power, 80%, and then once you're happy, off the brakes, full power into reheat.
Right, okay, that's about 85 set and 10,000.
Onto that. So I'm setting my power as well, leveling off at 10, and just looking the head-up display where the horizon cuts that head-up display. Mine's just above the little iron arms either side. And I'm just I'm setting about 84%. I'm just going to see what that holds. So you want to come right now? There should be like a little island down there somewhere. Where is the island? Oh yeah, you can see it out to the right-hand side, right 1 o'clock.
Okay, right turn now?
Yeah, right turn now if you want. Point at the island and keep coming that turn all the way around onto west, will do you? There's Catesi down there to the left. And I'll cut this turn and I'll catch you up. So we're going to try and fly 10,000 feet, 350 knots as accurate as possible. And if we have a snag, we'll just adjust the power a little bit. So right now about 360 knots, so I've probably got power set at 85%, a little bit too high. I'm on your right 4 o'clock now, and I'll just come onto your wing in a second. And you're going to roll out onto west. Just follow that river the whole way up as best you can. That's looking nice. And that river there, so we're going to follow the river all the way up till we get to the inland sea. And whenever we roll out from a turn, we're just going to check that our flight path is clear, so nothing's in front of us, and we're just going to look on our dead wing. So that dead wing for you would have been the wing on the left hand side, the wing that was uppermost in the turn. We just clear that out there, make sure nothing there, that's good. And then we are above some weather here, so we'll have a look at that. We can either climb or descend for this a little bit. Let's have a look. You need to climb so you're not in cloud, that's fine. And also, top of climb, we do something called the fuel checks. So it's FOEL. So we're going to check our fuel. We'll just make sure we've got enough fuel to get home. It's looking pretty good today. Check its balance. Left low should have gone back to auto now. Oxygen. Yep. The oxygen should be on the right hand side there, just below where your generators were. So we just check those. That green switch is forward for oxygen. And we would check its winking and blinking, which is the flow indicator. Engine, we're checking that the RPM matches each other, so both engine RPM should be the same, and the TGT should be about the same as well. And you'll learn that, say, 90 RPM is about 450 TGT. You'll learn these things and it'll become familiar with you eventually. And then location, we're trying to figure out where we are. Have you got 31 X-ray on your TACAN set?
Yes, I have.
So you can see that the base is about 300 from us at the moment.
Yep.
I'm literally 10,000 feet here.
I'm 10,300.
You out of cloud?
Yeah.
So I lost you for a second. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I'm just on your left-hand side, slightly high.
Visual.
So heading west, and I'll try and stay here now. 350 knots is pretty good. I'll come down as well. And we can just, why don't we drop down beneath this this cloud initially? Okay. We'll go down to 8,000. Let's just in the descent 8,000. Maintaining 350 knots, then bring back the throttles to about 80%, maybe 75%. Bit of power on them. We'll just descend down to about 8,000. That will help us just see a bit better. So you can see where the river's running out to the sea. That's good. I'm on your left wing now. Flight path is good and dead wing's good. Always checking that flight path because it gives you a chance to look at weather. A lot of people don't look outside the aeroplane, which sounds a bit counterintuitive. Make sure you're holding that 350, setting a decent power to hold that so you're not letting the speed run away with you. And fly as accurate at 7,500 as you can, 2992, that's really nice. And we're really trying to nail these things. If you were to take your hand off the aeroplane now, completely, how's that looking? Looking pretty good, isn't it? No real pitch, no real roll. Yep, yeah, that's looking alright.
It's quite sensitive in trim, isn't it?
Nicely held. A lot of people really struggle to hold decent heights and speeds. And you've got the air brake configured, yeah? You know how to use that?
Yep.
And remember, we don't have to go idle with air brake. We can leave the power setting as it is, and then we can use the air brake with the power as it is, which will obviously limit the amount of retardation we get. So we don't always have to go idle with air brake. On the brake, though, we do use idle air brake, and we put the air brake back in about 260 knots. But we don't really care how you land the jet at the moment because we're only on lesson 1. Yeah, lesson 1's brilliant. So looking for Katase on the nose.
Yeah, visual Katase.
Alright, good. Oh, I think I've got it, yeah. You can see the river then. That's going to lead us back to the west that we're going to follow. And you can see our air base. See the mountain out to the right over your right shoulder?
Yeah.
Again, it's the biggest mountain in the whole of Caucasus. To the south of that, you may well see the airfield. And of course, we're going to join on the 090 runway. So we're going to be heading 090 when we face back up to the runway. And now we can put 31 X-ray on. So 31 X-ray.
Yep, set.
And we would dial in the frequency for Colkey. We don't need to do that. And then we give them a call, and it'll be Colkey radar SNIBs for a visual recovery with Alpha. Alpha being the information state, whatever it might be that you're left with, or if you're looking at the Airfield Traffic Information Service, it may have changed. They'll come back. They may give you a squawk. They may say SNIBs squawk 3456. 3456 SNIBs. Snibs, you're identified currently at 8,000 feet. What kind of service do you require? I'll take a basic service, Snibs. Roger, Snibs. Own descent at your own discretion. Call visual with the field. Switching to tower. Snibs. Now, we are visual with the field now, as I'm sure you're aware. You can see it took about 4 minutes to get to Kataisi. So there's no point going to tower just yet, because when we go to tower frequency, if we go to tower, we're going to hear everyone in the circuit. We're going to hear everyone joining, which is great, but we're going to hear everyone in the circuit as well. And people calling downwind and finals doesn't really help our situational awareness on who's joining through initials, does it? So when you go to tower is a bit of a kind of like, when do I feel I need to know what's in the circuit? All right. So we'll start the descent now. We're maintaining 350 knots. We'll put about 80% on, and we'll just allow that nose to come down maybe a couple of degrees and just get that descent coming. And what we're going to do is make two 90-degree turns pretty much. It's much safer than a full 180-degree turn. And we're going to roll out pointing at 090, pointing at the runway at about 1,500 feet at about 3 miles. And it's a judgment call, that's all it is. And we want to be slightly on the left-hand side of the runway. There's a taxiway on the left-hand side of the runway to the north of the runway. And we're just going to roll out above that taxiway pretty much when we do face the runway. So we just keep the jet coming down, holding 350 knots. The brake's at 350. It's roll, pull, idle air brake, below 260 gear travels. Flap should come down by itself. Power, holding 200 knots. And then we just try and fly finals turn as best you can. We don't teach circuits till less than 7 anyway, so no one cares, right? We can do what we want because we're legends. Yeah. So now we're looking at the field. We go, okay, cool. We don't know whether anyone's in the field, and we probably should. So we're probably going to go to the tower now. So we're probably, as we're coming down through about 5,000 feet, below 5 is a nice time to go to tower. And we're quite close to the field. So it'll be Snibs visual with the field to tower. Roger, Snibs, contact stud 2. Stud 2, Snibs. You jump onto stud 2, and then you'd be saying, Snibs, join. Or you're saying, Colkey Tower, Snibs, join. Try and use their full call sign initially. They'll be like, Snibs, Colkey Tower, Roger, you are clear, join then for runway 09 right hand, 29.92, currently circuit clear. And all you do is you point back, join Snibs. Okay, or 09 right, 2992, join Snibs. Most people will just say join Snibs because you're just being clear to join. Now, coming down 3.5, I'd keep it a little bit high at the moment, maybe that 90-degree turn now. So now we can do a 90-degree turn up to about north, isn't it? Because that'll be right angles to the runway.
Yep, turning.
That's it, I've got you there. And we're going to sort of roll out about north and check that dead wing, make sure no one else is coming in through initials. You can also ask, is there any other traffic joining? And they'll say negative. Just a crazy instructor behind you is also joining. So we'll roll out about north. That's it, have a good look out towards the sea, making sure no one else is coming in. No one else is coming in there. And then we can make that second turn now to the right.
Turning.
And that's a really nice way of doing it. You can make a whole 180-degree turn if you wanted to, but it's a little bit unsafe because you'll be blanking out the whole way around. You'll be blanking out the whole of that turn. So now we're going to point to the airfield, get down to 1,500 feet. We're going to be slightly on the left-hand side of the runway. So you position your aircraft as you can. So you're slightly on the runway. That's it. That's looking nice. Over that taxiway if you possibly can. It's probably the best place. That's looking nice. Down to 1,500 feet. There's 1,500, holding that. Think about your attitude. Think 350 knots is good, and we're going to brake to land off this. You should be over. You should be to the left of the runway enough that you can look down to the right hand side of the aircraft and just see that runway clear. If you're not, you need to come further left. So position yourself so that you can see that the runway is clear. Now normally 2/3 about the runway. I prefer on the early sort is to use the end of the runway. Checking our fuel is good with about 2,400 pounds. End of the runway, we'll check downwind, nothing downwind, and Snibs late initials, because we forgot to call initials, my fault. And then we're going to roll, pull, 4G, idle with air brake, and at 260 knots, gear can travel and air brake can come back in again.
Braking.
Roger that, and we're going to go around to 270. I'll wait 4 bananas, 3 bananas, 4 bananas, and it'll be Snibs brake land, and FJP brake land. 4G's there, roll, pull, bit more G Davies, onto about 270. Awful brake from me, I've not flown in track and a half for a long time. Gear travels, air brake comes in, power, 270. We all fly VR nowadays, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm a bit tighter than you, so I'm going to follow you downwind. Nicely, make sure you trim that nose up, got to trim that nose up. I've got 3 greens indicating, full flap indicating. How are you looking your jet?
Full flat, 3 greens.
Okay. Nicely spacing on the runway, checking about 270. You might, that's good spacing for you. Don't get too tight. About 210 knots, 200, 210 knots. You want to hold down wind. That's looking good. And then when you're looking down that disused runway, you can start your final turn. About 45 degree angle of bank. That's
Okay, turning final now.
That's good, yeah. You see how the attitude changes when we're downwind as well. The horizon gets much lower in the HUD. There's my turning cue. 1 banana, 2 banana. R-tip, touch of rudder, putting the HUD glass touching the horizon, top of the HUD glass touching the horizon, leaving the power. I've got 3 greens, full flap, and it'll be SNIBs, final gear down, SNIBs, cleared land, wind 0906 knots, FJP, final gear down, FJP, cleared land. In turn, 1 ahead. Land, FJP. So that's it, keep that coming, halfway around 900 feet. We are rolling out for 300, drawing that centre line out of the runway. That's looking nice. And allowing that green and that yellow to show to the left of the HUD, green and yellow. And then as you go over the threshold, green only, so you can bring that power back. Start building the green and yellow, sitting tall in the cockpit. As I'm approaching short finals then, I'm just checking, I've got 3 greens, full flap, toes clear with clearance. Looking like you're down there, and you can start slowing the aircraft. And with an aircraft landing behind you, don't use the brake chute. Just go to the end of the runway if you can. That's looking good. I'm trimming it now. I've got green and yellow all the way in. All the way in. As I get short finals, I'm going to just get that green. There's the green. Idle, stalling it on, holding the jet off. That's me down. And now I'm light braking. Checking the brakes work. Yes, they do. Light braking. Stick can come back. Throttles are fully closed. Visual with you. You can drift off the left-hand side of the runway, which you've done, which is your slow lane. Speed is under control. And then as soon as my speed's under control, a bit wobbly with the old nose wheel there, I'll say FJP, slow speed. That just means that you can cross, you can come off the runway early if you want to. It's a bit wobbly this jet today, I don't know why. I have to look, maybe my nose will steer, so it's funny. You come off that exit there, go on to. That's looking good. And I'll just check my airplane because that nose will steer, and I bet nose will steering is being a dick. Hold on. No, it looks alright. Don't know why it's being a bit weird. It's a bit oscillatory there. And as we exit the runway, obviously I'm behind you, I'll call up with clear, and it'll be, let's have a look. FJP active vacated to ground, and it'll be SNIBs flight, push stud 1. SNIBs, and then it'll be SNIBs flight 2, and then we taxi back to disused. So cold key ground, SNIBs taxiing back. Now SNIBs taxi back to disused, SNIBs. And then you taxi back to disused, and then we're going to clean up the jet as we're taxiing back. So one thing we don't do is make sure we prejudice the safe conduct of the airplane on the tarmac cabin area. We don't want to put jets on the grass, it's highly embarrassing. So we really have to be careful about what we do as we taxi back. Now we start the left engine first, then the right, so we can shut down the right engine if we need to on the taxi back in. And we can open the canopy, you want to get some air in, but make sure before we do, as we taxi off the runway, we make sure the seat is safe. That's the thing we do, seat canopy safe. We'll go and park up and always evaluate the performance. I thought your height keeping was actually really good. Speed control is not bad at all. If you set a power, you can see that works with speed control. And if there is weather out there, just climb or descend below the weather, which is good. I thought your approach back to the airfield was also very nice. 2 90-degree turns, just 190, roll out, yeah, dead wings clear, and then do another 90 so that lines you up with the airfield. Having your course bar on the runway helps a lot, of course, because it really helps you to orientate yourself, especially when the tack and needle lines up. There's a big Chinook on the airfield. So that was good to see, and I thought your circuit work was good then. Have you flown much before on DCS then?
I have been practicing on the F5, yeah.
Yeah, so that shows to me. I fly with some people and it's a real chore, but it was very easy for me to stay with you today. And the key, if you are flying and you have someone on your wing, is to remain predictable. So make it really obvious. As you said, I'm rolling out 120. I know exactly then what I need to roll out, and I know exactly what speed you're doing because you're trying to maintain 350 throughout. So that really helps me. When we do the formation, always put yourself in the formation when you are leading. Put yourself in like someone else's shoes. How would the guy on the wing feel if I was leading them around in this formation? Would they be struggling or would they be all right? So we'll go and park up to the left somewhere. Always try and fly this jet clean or with a scent line. We don't fly a scent line tank on the F5. People do, but we don't. There we go. Right, that's it. Their seat will be safe. Canopy's coming up. And then as that engine winds down, we can get those fuel pumps are obviously off. Gens are off. Leave battery on until the engine is fully wound down. When the engine's below 10%, then you can turn that battery off. You'll lose comms with everyone, of course, and then the radio can go off as well. We are shut down like heroes of the shutdownness. Excellent work.
Excellent. It was the talking about F5 practice. It was that F5 circuit video that you did on YouTube.
Yeah.
I saw that posted. I was looking at something on the F5 in the DCS forum, and someone linked that video, and it was that I thought he knows what he's doing. So I joined the Shadowlands
great.
after I saw
Yeah,
that.
cool.
So
well, it's hard.
that's a good recruitment video, that one.
Yeah, cool. Well, it's hard to do it. Obviously, that's why we practice it. Doing 4 circuits in a row like that and trying to keep them tidy, it's not easy to do, especially when you're recording on track IR. So keep practicing that. The key to, I always say, I know the good pilots, they can fly decent circuits.